Well, let's get right into our first story. Authorities are investigating a series of armed robberies in Paterson, including at least two incidents captured on surveillance video. Take a look. Last Friday, a group of heavily armed masked suspects targeted a barbershop in the 300 block of Main Street. Surveillance footage shows three masked individuals dressed in black brandishing long guns, threatening victims both inside the barbershop and on the street. At least five victims reported that the suspects made off with cash, jewelry, phones, and a key fob. Fortunately, no injuries were reported during this incident. Another robbery took a more violent turn when a gunman shot and wounded a 48-year-old man in a nearby basement on West Broadway, according to the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office. Earlier that same day, a victim reported being approached by two armed men in ski masks who demanded money, taking jewelry and a phone before fleeing the scene.
Joining us now is Paterson Mayor Andre Sayegh. Mayor, welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. Hi, Mayor. I assume this must be unsettling to see crime like this in your city.
It's actually unprecedented. It's beyond brazen. And that's why I'm fighting to make sure I can regain control of my police department. The Attorney General, which we believe illegally assumed control of our department, and opening, or should I say, oral arguments were heard this past Tuesday at the state appellate court.
And we'll get more to that issue in just a bit. But about the robbery, have police connected these recent robberies or made any progress in identifying the suspects yet?
The investigation is ongoing. I had an opportunity to speak to the owner of the barber shop. Clearly, he's distressed and he's in fear. And a lot of people in Paterson are panicking. Many out-of-towners are aghast. They've never seen anything like this. And you see the type of weapons they're wielding. I don't see why people would not be shuddering in fear.
And you mentioned before the Attorney General's involvement. The Paterson Police is currently run by the Attorney General's office. They took over last year. Are you now calling on them to return local control?
Yeah, so we had to take it to court. And like I stated before, oral arguments were heard this past Tuesday. And we contend what he did was illegal because the Attorney General cannot cite any state statute, or any statute for that matter, that gives him the authority to do what he did. I'm a duly elected mayor, actually twice, by large margins, and I have a mandate. And when I ran, one of the planks of my platform was to improve public safety, because we're always looking for opportunities to improve our police department, the way we protect and serve the public. But unfortunately, Matt Platkin, who many believe is politically motivated, just came in and took an unprecedented action by taking over our police department.
And Mayor, for those that don't know, what led to the AG state takeover?
Well, he actually doesn't really cite one specific reason. As a matter of fact, there was a matter involving a police officer, a police-involved shooting about a month before he took over. And that individual he charged and then had to dismiss the charges because apparently information, or I should say evidence, was withheld. So predicated on false pretenses, if that was what he was basing his takeover on.
So has the Attorney General's office responded to you? And what is the plan when you eventually take back control of the Paterson Police Department?
I haven't heard from the Attorney General's office. Prior to the illegal takeover, we were in conversation with the Rutgers Center on Policing. And also I went to Omaha a month later to learn about a program that can improve the way that you protect and serve your community, and also restore trust between the police and the public. So we were on our way, but he abruptly arbitrarily came in and took over our police department. And I want to point out something. Before I took office, not a single police officer in Paterson was wearing a body camera. Now every single police officer, because I made it mandatory, is wearing a body camera in Paterson. And we did a comprehensive audit of our police department to find out where we can improve. It was equivalent to a SWOT analysis. What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? Where are there opportunities? Where are there threats to the police department? So that was all happening before this illegal takeover.
Now let's switch gears, because this week the state took over control of the city's building and construction department. What led to this, and do you feel, again, the state has the right to do it?
Well, this is actually something we invited. It's more of an intervention. They've been here working with the department because the department's had some challenges dating back to even prior to when I took office. And developers had complained to my office and said, look, we're not getting our permits in time. There's too much of a delay. Paterson is in growth mode. I mean, when I took office, there were about 1,200 abandoned properties. Now there's fewer than 200. So we've reduced the number of abandoned properties by 80%. And we want to make sure that we continue to promote growth in Paterson. And we don't want any developer having any delays. So we want to improve the customer service experience for anyone who's investing in our city of Paterson. So we welcome them in the building department.
It definitely sounds like you're taking a lot of steps to move forward in a positive direction. And we understand Paterson is one of the few cities selected from around the world to be featured at the City Lab conference. This is for the work the city has done to help people struggling with drug addiction. How is the city helping people who are currently struggling?
Yeah, so we created a program known as Real Fix because if you're suffering from opioid use disorder and you are addicted to, say, fentanyl and heroin, that's a fake fix. And then whenever we have to revive someone who's overdosed with Narcan, that's a quick fix. The real fix is what's been proven medically to help heal the brain of individuals struggling with opioid use disorder and then help wean them off of whatever they're addicted to. So it's a hotline that we created, 833 Real Fix, where someone struggling with drug addiction can call, gets connected to a doctor. The doctor prescribes this medication-assisted treatment, which is called Suboxone. We get it to them, we say in 90 minutes. When we piloted with 5 opioid use people who are using opioids, we got it to them in 76 minutes. And then we connect them with a counselor to put them on a path to permanent sobriety. So because of our efforts, Michael Bloomberg actually gave the city of Paterson $1 million to continue this program. And 1 year later, we've actually gotten 450 people to treatment. And 30% of those individuals now have permanent housing as a result of our Real Fix program. So we feel like it could be a model that other municipalities can emulate in this country so that they can help anyone who's struggling with opioid use disorder as well. And quite frankly, we'd love to see within the New Jersey state budget a line item that has something that could fund Real Fix programs in other urban centers or other areas that are struggling with drug addiction. And then maybe federally, we can have some type of an initiative akin to Real Fix to help and heal people.
Yeah, that's really important, that model of how fixing the opioid crisis could work at a local level and maybe expand it to a bigger footprint. On another note, Paterson recently passed the Project Labor Agreement Ordinance. Can you tell us what this is and how it impacts labor and businesses in your city?
Yeah, this is historic. Paterson does have a history with labor. As a matter of fact, the Silk Strike of 1913 led to a number of reforms in this country. As a matter of fact, we point to the fact that a Pattersonian, a machinist in Paterson, came up with the concept for Labor Day. His name was Matthew McGuire. And so staying true to our roots as far as the labor movement is concerned, we're proud that now Paterson has a project labor agreement. So that means Pattersonians will have an opportunity to work on some of these large-scale projects. Mike, I talked about how we've reduced our number of abandoned properties by almost 80%. Well, there's still about that 20% that we can address as well. And there's still major projects still to go. As a matter of fact, let me point to one specific project. So the Great Falls in Paterson is a national park, and it is the second largest waterfall in volume, second only to Niagara, east of the Mississippi. So we have a plan to build a first-class visitor center for tourists and for anyone who wants to visit, named after our founder, Alexander Hamilton. So that's a project that's going to exceed $5 million, and you're going to see a lot of labor work there. You're going to unions there, and you're going to see Pattersonians get an opportunity to be empowered and employed at the work site.
It's an exciting future there for Paterson.
Oh,
Mayor Andre Sayegh, thank you.
We want both of you to visit us in Paterson, the Great Falls, and for great food, because we have a great future.
I absolutely agree. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Andre Sayegh, Mayor of Paterson, for joining us this morning on the New Jersey Morning Show.
Thank you, everyone.